Welcome to the Tiger Nexus Podcast, a place where you'll find interviews with content creators and geeks alike. Your host, Tiger, has delved upon the Nexus and found interesting content creators and geeks of all fandoms. This podcast is connected to the Zero Hero Network. And now we dive in with another episode!
Hello everybody and welcome to the Tiger Nexus podcast. Of course, I'm your host, Tiger, and welcome to one of our little sub-series that we have dubbed Press Start and Level Up. This is where myself and my co-host for the sub-series talk about a game or a game series, and we dive into the game and we talk about our opinions and such. And of course, my co-host is Anthony. Hello Anthony, how are you?
Hello, I am good today.
And today we are talking about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. For me, specifically, it'd be more Pokemon Scarlet because that's the one that I have recently played. Yeah, we're going to dive into, as of right now, the latest generation of Pokemon. I'm aware that you've played this game more than once.
Multiple times.
You
very different playthroughs each time as well.
Do you have a favorite starter?
Or I want to say the Quaxley line grew on me quite a lot since I did a solo playthrough with them.
Fair. I do like Quacks in the anime. I picked Fuecoco first. I'm a bit of a fire type starter Pokemon user. Even though in some generations the fire Pokemon aren't my favorite, but I always, when I play the games, fired, so I went with Fuecoco. Absolutely love Skeleturge. I think Skeleturge's got a sick ass design. I love the little fire chick thing that sits on his head, and his original move that he's got is really cool too. He actually came in handy a lot, actually, especially going through the gyms and the team bases. And I wiped the floor with the Elite Four with him. He came in a real handy when it came to fighting the Elite Four. I feel like I don't know. I feel like I haven't played the game again with Sprigatito or Quaxley yet, but I do feel that Skeletor is kind of a heavy hitter against the big opponents. He does really well against them, I think. I don't know about your experience because, like you said, you've played it multiple times.
So I have played with all three, and the one thing about them I've noticed, especially considering a lot of other generations, is that these three are actually very strong. They all have like good strengths, and they can all be built around quite well, and they all have like quite a ridiculous signature move. But I definitely would probably put Skeleturge probably above the other two in terms of a playthrough, just because he offers so much, and he can his signature move, I can't remember what it's called, it's the song one, give me a second. Is it Torch Song? Yeah, his signature move, Torch Song, is really good, especially in Scarlet and Violet, because it's a special attack that can hit through substitute and also increases his special attack stat each turn.
Yep.
Where you can do some really cool stuff with him, where you just start using metronomes. You can terrestrialize him into a fire type, which increases that damage even further, and you can kind of just sweep with a Skeleturge just at us straight away. And
yeah,
when I did with him, he was definitely one of the heavy hitters that you just send out first.
Yeah, he definitely using the terrestrializing on him and using Torch Song, it would obliterate opponents. Absolutely, you'd better wipe the floor with a lot of them. And I feel like when it came to be honest, the big chunk of the game where you have the three stories that you got to go through and everything, I didn't get stuck that much. I feel like when it came to the gyms, I got stuck on two. The team star bosses, I only got stuck on one. and I think Penny managed to beat me once, I think. But like using Skeledirge with the terrestrialization and then using Torch Song as a combo, that helped massively.
Yeah, a lot of the, especially with like this generation, like some of the fights, particularly if you're not over leveled as well, like some of these fights can be quite nasty, and especially when it comes to the Team Star bases, because with that end fight they do with the goddamn car.
Oh my god, the car was actually the biggest nuisance.
Where you got to fight the car every time, and that led some of the Team Star ones being quite ruthless. Now, as like I've played Nuzlocke of this game and stuff like that, and some of those bases like can be quite scary in those situations, because for those who don't know, if a Pokemon faints, you lose it in a Nuzlocke.
Yeah,
And those ones, you can definitely count on losing like one or two in those, and especially if some of them can start steamrolling, because they also have like boosting moves, or they have moves that like negatively affect your stats in the fight.
Yeah, I think the Team Star boss fights were the ones I had to think more with, because so obviously this game separated into two kind of sections. The first section, you have 3 storylines, you got to complete the 3, and then they all kind of have one particular character that kind of ties into the second section, which we'll get to later. But with the gyms, I didn't find them all too tricky. The ice type gym did kind of whip my ass. But I think that was more because I wasn't at the right level. I think Skeledirge was only like level 42, and his highest level Pokemon's 48. And obviously his ace Pokemon is Altaria, which is dragon flying. And he terrestrializes that Pokemon as well. So like that was just a fucking nutcase of a fight. I managed to get through 3 ice types pretty quick, but as soon as Altaria came out, she just whooped my ass. And she used that moon attack as well, and that just obliterated all my Pokemon. And then the other one was Rhyme with the ghost type gym. And again, it was because her ace isn't ghost, it's electric poison, because it's toxicity. In its low key form, I think it's called. And it was just because her ace Pokemon was just slightly different. I managed to beat them on their second run through, like my second attempt. But they're the 2 gyms that kind of gave me a hassle. One thing I will say about the gyms, that I do like the characters. I think because of the technology of the Switch, and the way that they're able to put more into the graphics and stuff, the characters themselves have a bit more characteristics to them. They have a bit more personality now. They're not just little digital, 2D characters, whatever. And I felt like each character was pretty unique. I think, each character was kind of fun. I absolutely adore, just because the way he looks and how bored he looks, is Larry, the normal type gym. Fucking love that dude. He just wants to get on with business, man. Like, he's just done with his day.
I think a lot of people can relate to Larry, just overworked, tired.
He just looks done, He looks like he needs a cold, stiff
day,
He looks like he needs a cold, stiff beer,
He's great, but like you said, like these designs, especially since Sword and Shield, like I probably feel like they stepped up a bit in character designs compared to Sword and Shield, especially since not everybody's wearing a goddamn sports uniform this time.
Yeah, like each character felt different. You've got, so in Pokemon Scarlet, I'll go Pokemon Scarlet because that's the one I played. You got Katie, the bug type gym. She's a baker. She actually popped up in anime recently. That was really cool. And she's a bit older and stuff. And Teddiursa, I've never seen someone use a Teddiursa that hard before. It was great. I'm gonna pronounce this most probably wrong, but Brassius?
I think it's Brassius.
Is the grass type, which his ace is Sudowoodo, which is a rock type, and he's an artist, isn't he? He's like a painter or something. He's like an artist or something. Yeah. I really like the way that his hair is kind of looks plant-like. It does kind of look goofy, but it works for Pokemon. Then you got Iono, is it?
Iono,
the electric, yeah. She's in the anime a lot, so I've grown to like her a lot, because she's kind of like a stepping character every now and then. And Belly Bolts is her main in the anime, but obviously in this, her ace is Miss Magius, which is a ghost type. But as an electric type gym leader, she's great. She's a streamer, which is awesome. Tofu, I actually got confused on because I was live streaming this. Everyone can go see my live streams on Tiger Broadcasting. Pardon me. And I ended one live stream middle of his challenge, because each gym you get given a challenge, and each challenge is different as well, which I respect. But when I started my next live stream, it was like a week or two later, and I did not know what the hell I was doing. I had to go to a different city and talk to someone. I was like, okay, so I got completely lost doing his challenge there for a minute. And his ace is Crabominable, I think it's called. He's a ice fighting type, which his design has never made sense to me, but hey. Then you got Larry. Love Larry. He is so cool. He's the only one, I think, that actually keeps the same type, because his ace is Staraptor.
So this is a cool thing about this game, is that with Larry, he keeps his ace because, well, actually, does he switch to Flamigo in his second fight? I think he might do in his champion fight.
Yeah, so Staraptor's in his Elite Four roster, but Flamingo is his ace Pokemon, yeah.
But because a lot of these bird types as well are like normal, like flying, like Staraptor can just fit into the flying type too, which was like really cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And I like it when Larry does, when you do meet Larry in the Elite Four, he actually states that, you know, he gets told that he's not allowed to do normal because that's his gym, so he has to change his type around, and that each one of his Pokemon is flying, but it's also alternative as well. You got grass flying, electric flying, dragon flying, normal flying, and then Flamigo's fighting and flying. So you still get the flying type, but each one just got an additional difference as well, which does make the fight just a little bit more entertaining. Which I really like that. I think that's really cool. And then to round off the gyms, we've got Rhyme, which we spoke about with Toxicity as her ace Pokemon. She's a rapper. She's also appeared in the anime. She's kind of cool. One thing that was really annoying is you couldn't skip the cutscene, and her introductory cutscene is her battle rapping a little kid, and it's so long. Like the first time around, it was cool, but when you get your ass kicked by her and you have to do it again, it's like, oh my god, can we please just hurry the fuck up? Like, I'm done now. Like, come on, I've seen this before. Pokemon, give us skipple cutscenes. Let's go. Tulip, I obliterated Tulip. I don't even remember who the hell Tulip was when I did my research. I was like, huh, who's this? I completely obliterated her. She's the psychic gym, and her ace is Florges? Yeah, and that's Fairy. And then obviously you've got Grusha, who's got Altaria as his ace, and bit of a knob, I'm not gonna lie. Because he's also a knob in the anime too. The way he talks to you about, like, you may as well just give up. Is like, dude, like, calm the fuck down.
Like, I think it's a part of his personality, because I think he's supposed to be, he's an ex-professional snowboarder, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
And I think he failed to complete his dream, so he kind of starts like taking it out on other people by basically being like, oh, you should give up, because that's kind of what like he did.
Well, this kind of why I mentioned the fact that, you know, I kind of appreciate their character designs and personalities and stuff, because each character does feel different, and they're not just 2D, you know, pixels. And Grusha does come across as a dickhead, and yeah, like you said, it's just part of his personality, but you do get that sense of, like, he is miserable, and, like, you know, he is telling your character, dude, just get the fuck up, like, I'm gonna kick your ass, your dreams are over, just give up. That's basically what he tells you, your character, and it's just like, it's brilliant, because it's completely different to all the other gyms, and it because of the way that he's animated and stuff, it comes across as him just being, no pun intended, cold.
Because like I even like so like to follow one of the questions you get before you go into the Elite Four, it's like they ask, it's like, who's your favorite, who left an impression on you, you know? And it's like, for me, that was a bit of a pick between two of them. So I really liked Larry, despite being basic. He's that overworked office worker, and it's
Yep.
kind of super relatable. But like the other one I quite like, just personality wise, because she's so self-centered, it's Iono.
Yeah, I like her a lot.
Like that, the personality is just like hilarious to me, where she's just constantly like shilling and stuff like that. She's trying to get people to like subscribe to her and stuff like that in the fight, and she's
Like
all this.
how
Like,
her
she's like, come back next time. Like you do great for views.
yeah, like her challenge is basically getting people to watch you. That's basically her gym challenge, is to gain more views, basically. Yeah, I like her a lot. She's really cool. One of my favorite things about Larry is his introduction, because you have to go to that restaurant, don't you? That's the actual gym, is the restaurant. That's where you do the battle anyway. And Larry's actually sat there, he's eating, and you don't actually know he sat there. And when like you go out and you say, look, I've got, I've done the challenge and everything, Lowry kind of stands up and walks through. He's like, yeah, I'm actually the gym leader here. And it's just like, dude, you look so fed up. I just want to buy you a beer and give you a cigarette, man. Just, you need to calm the fuck down, dude. Like, it's all good. Like, I honestly, Scarlet and Violet gets a lot of hate, and I can kind of see some glaring issues, but just going off of like how much attention to detail for the characters and the story and stuff, it is actually pretty good. I'll admit, I liked it.
There's definitely areas like that where they've stepped up, but there is valid criticisms for the game, and I'm not gonna like, just because I like Pokemon, I'm not gonna forgive them for just being Pokemon. Like it's like, yeah, sure, like the performance isn't great and stuff like that on the regular Switch. They've improved it with the Switch 2, I believe, and stuff, and like the textures aren't great. Like the biggest joke recently was with the windmill.
Yeah.
So like at the start, people took fun of the windmill because it rotates at like 5 frames a second, and then like in the Switch 2, it actually rotates smoothly. And people said, "Oh my god, they've done it, guys! They got the technology. We now have working windmills in video games." And
Yeah. To be fair, though, I mean, I didn't have that many like glitches or anything. I do believe there was one moment where, I believe I was riding, is it Crydon? Is that his name?
right on for
Yeah.
Scott, yeah.
Yeah, so I was riding Crydon. I got him to jump in the water, and he disappeared, and I'm just knee level on the water for a couple of seconds. I was like, well, my character can float now, so that happened once. That was kind of funny. Yeah, textures are a bit iffy. There's sometimes with the grass, it looks really weird at certain angles, especially if you're going downhill. The grass kind of goes like pixely almost. It gets like really weird texture, then you can literally physically see it kind of snap back to normal. The windmill, like you mentioned, yeah, I noticed that the windmill's kind of funny. I haven't actually seen any footage of Pokemon Scarlet on the Switch 2 or Pokemon Violet on the Switch 2, so I'm not entirely sure of like how much it's changed. And then one issue I had was the camera angles for certain fights, especially if you've ran into a Pokemon trainer or you're fighting your rival out in the wild. The camera angles sometimes are just wank, and you don't get a lot of.
Camera was stuck to the floor.
Yeah, I've had several fights where like I'm staring at their feet. I'm looking at the Pokemon feet, and I'm like, I can't see anything. It doesn't give you much room to angle it properly straight away. So definitely that's an issue, especially if you're trying to capture Pokemon, or dealing with like something new that you're not used to yet, or if you're very new to Pokemon, that can be kind of an issue, because sometimes it's definitely a case where Pokemon Scarlet is someone's introduction to Pokemon, which that can be a thing. But yeah, so this game is split into 3 storylines for the first half, which is very different for Pokemon. Usually it is just the gym, then you do like the elite, and then you got like the end game, which is where the big storyline is. This game kind of did it differently, where you got gyms, the Team Star storyline, and then you've also got the Titan storyline, where you go help out a character with beating gigantic Pokemon. What's your thoughts on how they kind of handled that? Because this is kind of new to the way Pokemon games work.
So this is an interesting one as well, because I'm not sure if you noticed, but there is a kind of boss fight for every type.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool to do. And I like, of course, the 8 gyms are a staple of Pokemon. It's only really changed for Sun and Moon, I believe. They changed it because it was the islands instead.
Yeah, I
So
believe
that's always been a staple, and that's been good. And I did like a lot of the gyms. Some of the fights were easier than others, but like, it's a Pokemon game. Like, it's meant to be played by everyone. It's like, if you want it to be harder, there's self-imposed rules you can do. I've done a few of them, and the game does get quite interesting in those situations. I kind of want to like the Team Star bases. I'm not sure on the execution of them personally. Like, the send out your Pokemon and have them fight a bunch of other Pokemon for the first step just seemed a bit pointless. And like, I can kind of see where they're going, where like you're fighting a horde, like, but you don't have to do those like back-to-back fights in the older games. Like, I'm not sure, like in I can think of some in like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, where you'd have to have like back-to-back Team Aqua or Team Magma grunts just thrown at you for like a segment. And like that's quite irritating in itself. But this time it's like you're just throwing out your Pokemon and they're auto battling, and they wanted to show off the new feature, so I can kind of see that. But when it comes to Pokemon, I kind of just want to get into the fights, and the big fights are kind of cool. And again, with the Titans, like, some of us, it's hard to say because they get this. Some of them were like quite hard in like certain playthrough. Like, again, in a regular playthrough, most of the times you might just go through them and you can run through them, especially if you're prepared or if you're over leveled and stuff like that. But like, I remember I played with 2 of my friends and we did a soul lock, so all our Pokemon were connected as a life, and none of us had like a good Pokemon going into the crab fight. I can't remember his name now. Oh, what's he called?
Pull up a Titan.
Got him here. Cloth, in the Cloth fight. And I I remember particularly this, like, I had a Quillfish against him. I had to beat him I had to beat this, like, I think at the time he's like around level 18 with a Clawfish. A level 18 like Cloth with a Quillfish. But that was like pulled up like quite a good story moment, because like I ended up using minimize on this Quillfish, and he just kept on missing me and stuff like that, and it was really cool, and I liked the big fight of it, and I feel like those were good, definitely. But I definitely want to see them try do something similar again. I don't really want them to do Team Star bases again though, or like change them up a bit, because the auto battling is not too good in its current form. Yeah,
see, the Team Star bases, the thing is with me, I like character stories and things like this, and you know, as we've mentioned the gyms, I feel like the boss fights, they were cool looking, they're unique character designs, you know, they were unique people, and you did get flashbacks and you kind of understood kind of who each one was to a certain degree. And I felt like, you know, these little fucking things you got to do in the beginning where you send out your Pokemon and stuff, it just kind of took away from that. Like, it was just boring, and I'd rather them spend more time, because you get a little snippet with each one, you know, get your flashback, and then that storyline ends with you fighting the chairman of the school, who, you know, pretends to be the leader for a moment. Obviously he pretends to be is it what's his name? What does he pretend to be called?
Cassiopeia, is it?
Yeah. And you know, he dresses younger and pretends to be a different person throughout it and stuff, which is kind of funny. And then ends up being Penny, which I loved fighting Penny. I thought fighting Penny was great. You know, having different Eve evolutions just made sense, because she obviously is Eve obsessed, which is awesome. And I wanted more of that. I wanted more of that storyline, because at the end they all kind of like say, "Hey, boss, it's all good. Like we can still be friends," and they're all welcome back into the school because obviously they were bullied and things. It's like, well, give me more of the storyline because it did feel kind of choppy in some cases. I want to know more about these characters, but to get there first, you got to go through all this bollocks. And it's just like, I'd rather have more dialogue, to be honest. I'd rather learn more about the characters than, this fucking thing that you haven't really mastered yet. And like you said, we mentioned the cars that they have, the Rivervoom, I think it's called. They have a big version, and they can stand on it, and each one has a type advantage to whatever type they are, whatever type they use. So like the dark type one, his one has a dark type advantage, and they're a bitch to fight, and that's where I actually got messed up during my walkthrough of it, is fighting the big ass Ridderrooms. They're the ones that really gave me a challenge, which was cool. I didn't mind that. I like a challenge, and I think it was cool. But to get there, it's just such a ball ache. Luckily, if you do lose, you don't have to do the whole thing again. That would have been an absolute fucking bombshell if they did that. I think that would have been disgraceful. But yeah, it just took too much out of it. It took too much out of the fun of it. And then obviously we have the Titans, which I like the idea. The only one that really gave me kind of a mess up was the last one, which is the false dragon one, which ends up being Tatsugiri, the little sushi thing. That one was a bitch, man. That I think I had to revive Skeledirge, and then I had to terrestrialize him and use the song move to actually beat it. I think I got to the point where he's my last Pokemon. If he died, I'm dead, sort of thing. But yeah, that's the only one that. But I did like that. I also like the fact we got our first hint at the Paradox Pokemon, because you have Great Tusk or Iron Treads, which is the Paradox Pokemon. For oh my god, why can't I think of the? Yeah, thank you. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot that. You had your first look at that, and that's kind of the appeal to Pokemon Scarlet. The new gimmick is, yes, you got terrestrialization, but you've also got the Paradox Pokemon, which since we're talking about that, the once you've done all three storylines, you kind of get contacted by it's not, but you think it's one of the professors, and for Pokemon Scarlet, it's the woman. And she says, hey, come down to Area 0, which you need to complete all three first, because Penny, is it Nimona? Is that her name?
Yeah, Nimona.
Yeah. And then her son, or
Arthur,
yeah, they tag along, which was really weird. Having them run around with you is strange. I don't know about you, but personally, I feel like the whole Area 0 storyline, where you had to go into those 4 locations, and then you got to fight the AI because it turns out they're a robot and things like this, it felt so distantly different from the base game. And don't get me wrong, all Pokemon games do it, where it's like, hey, do the big chunk of the gyms, the Elite Four, do all that, and then we're just going to give you a chunk of content, which is like the end game, where usually the legendary Pokemon are involved and stuff. They do that all the time. That's nothing new, but this just felt so big and different.
So I feel like so they do this fight always in Pokemon. Every game has it, where just before you finish the game, you fight the bad guy.
Yeah.
And you get the legendary, you fight the bad guy. Scarlet and Violet is different because they do it after you've done everything.
Yep.
So it's like you've now beaten all the gyms, you've become champion, you've finished every storyline, and then you take everybody and you go do this one final thing, and then you have this, like, what can be quite a hard fight at the bottom.
Yeah.
Like, against the professors. And personally, I liked the fight with the professors and stuff like that. I loved that story with Arven. Someone hated Arven in the writing room, though. Man,
yeah. Yeah, agreed.
Someone hates him for the way his story plays out. And then... but then you have this final fight where it's yours legendary versus the fake, or well, not the copied legendary. You know, the one that came because there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
And that's just a wait until you press the button to defeat it thing. Like that one, I'm pretty sure is impossible to lose. That
It
part. But
it
I see what you mean with like them coming down. It's like quite a long segment too of the game.
Yeah, it's pretty big. You got to go to 4 different locations. You got to like you don't have a map. So you kind of got to like. It is pretty simple, but
And
you still
you
got
find
to.
out some of the story as well through those books as well. With the story,
Yeah,
you start reading like, oh, it's like, oh, we found this new Pokemon, and it's like it shows like, and like I think eventually, and words start getting cut out of the books, and it's like, oh, the Pokemon turned aggressive and stuff like that, and then like you find out it's Professor Sada or Turo, I think, throws himself in front of the 2 fighting, and that's what causes them to lose their life.
yeah, and then the whole thing is, you've got to stop the reason why you fight the air quote robot version of them is because it's a defense mechanism for you turning off the time machine, which is awesome. That's a really cool way of doing it because the entire time when you do speak to her over like the TV monitors and stuff, you don't even know it's a machine. You have no idea it's an AI copycat. And then when it is revealed, there is certain hints as you go down. When you go through Area Zero, there's certain hints that it's not her, which I liked as well. There is subtle hints that you can pick up on. And also the characters talk as well. A dialogue will pop up on screen when you're running around. I really like that. The fact that all 3 companions isn't like those games where, you got like a team of 6 or a team of 5, whatever, and you're just the only person there. This actually felt like you're running with people. These characters are now joined a part of your team. I like that. I think that's really cool. And when you get to the time machine, you got to turn it off. The only reason why you actually technically fight the AI version of the professor is because it's a defense mechanism. She even says, I'm gonna have to fight you now. I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to. It's part of the defense protocol. So you're gonna have to beat me. And I think it's quite sweet, in a sense. And I'm not saying it's bad. I really enjoyed the latter end of the game. I think it was really fun. Obviously, you get to capture the Paradox Pokemon, which is really cool. Running around areas, getting further down, finding all these different variations of Pokemon. I'm a big sucker for regional variants, and now they've also done convergent Pokemon as well. I love it when we've got something that came out in the 90s or early 2000s. It's like, hey, have the same thing, but it's different now. I like that. I'm a sucker for that sort of stuff. So capturing the Great Tusk for the first time and finding the ones that I didn't even know existed, that was really cool. But it was just, I don't know, I guess because it was such a big map and it was longer, it just felt really different compared to a Sword and Shield. Even it felt completely different to Sword and Shield, which is a good thing, I guess, in some cases.
I think I prefer this one, the Sword and Shield, 100%. Yeah, Sword and Shield was quite a slog to go through. I've beaten that one a few times as well, but this one, every time I've played this game, like I've gone through it, and it's been such a smoother ride each time. It's never felt like it's never felt like a slog to go through.
Yeah, no, that's very true. Live streaming it each time, I enjoyed myself. I don't feel like like we said, other than that first bit of the Team Star bosses where you have to like send out your Pokemon, if that was cut, I think I'd be happy. Nimona kind of grew on me now, but like the way that she just always popped up in the most inconvenient times did my head in during my walkthrough. I'm not gonna lie. Like there's actually a point where you beat a gym and you have to fight her straight away. Luckily your Pokemon are healed, but like you don't even get a chance to save or anything. You finish a gym is one of the gym battles you finish. I'm assuming because the way that it is, it's the numbered gym you do because you can do any gym.
It's the numbered, so it's after a certain number of fights she jumps you before one of them, she does heal you, and I think she does it in front of the champion too.
Yeah, because the champion watches. She says, I'm going to watch you two. And then after Nimona leaves, she says to you that when you do eventually get to Elite Four, and if you can beat me, Nimona, and you will be officially like the perfect companion, like rivals, because obviously Nomona has beaten her.
So like, this is another thing I've really liked is like with the companions, I feel like we don't have the asshole rival still, which I do kind of miss.
That changed.
I kind of miss where like the rival was actually trying to beat you. They always pick the weaker one now and stuff like that. It's a bit, and they always used to be happy. Like I hate Hop and How from like Sun and Moon and Sword and Shield. They're the same.
Hop did my head in.
They're the same character. They're overly happy. Although I think Hop has the depression arc.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like with these, it's like if you listen to the dialogue, like Arvin gets done dirty throughout the entire thing. Then you have Penny, isn't it? It is Penny.
Yeah, Penny.
And she stood up for people getting bullied and stuff like that, which was it's decent. I think hers is the more forgettable one, really.
Yeah, that's
it. But then she doesn't really talk to you much. She talks to you through like a phone throughout most of it. You see more of the Team Star members than you do her when she talks to you. And then you have like Nimona, who I can see like a lot of people are getting a bit aggravated with, but she does grow on me because she just wants to find someone who's challenged, because she even says in her story a lot, it's like I've never lost. She's like, she's never lost a fight, and like you're the first person who's actually beaten her, even though she's holding back and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And she says, and she's just looking for that one like big final fight. She's looking for a challenge, and like that's what she's looking for the protagonist for. And she does grow on me, and I do find her funny as well.
Oh yeah, like at first I was like, she's just your rival at the end of the day. But by the end, I was like, all right, yeah, she's kind of kick-ass. To be fair, I'll give it to her. And yeah, it's a shame that they're no longer. I mean, I don't mind them mixing it up every now and then, because for the first several games, your rival was there to like, they wanted to beat you. That they're either a dickhead or they're a bit on the broody side or whatever. They're a bit moody and shit. Whatever the case may be. Now it is a case of the last couple of games have been, hey, we're best friends. Let's grow stronger together, pal. But at least Lamona's got that story of, she kicks everyone's ass and she wants you to become stronger. So then, maybe you can kick her ass or maybe she can kick your ass, but at least it'll be a fair fight if you got stronger, sort of thing. But my biggest issue is, no matter what Pokemon you pick, she picks the one that gets beaten in it. So like, if you pick, I had Skeleturge obviously, which means she has the grass starter, which means it's not fair anymore, and that is a bit annoying. I don't mind the whole, hey, let's be pals the entire time if they're gonna do that, but at least bring it back. So if whatever starter you pick, they have the one that can beat you, or the one that trumps you, air quote, in the rock paper scissors triangle. I mean, I don't mind if when they do the next generation, because obviously they're gonna, it's Pokemon. I wouldn't mind if they mix it up, so like every now and then you'll get a game where it's a case of, hey, this person's a dick, this person wants to ruin your day, he's your rival, and then the next game is a case of, hey, we're best friends, let's go on an adventure, and then they mix it up a bit. That'd be kind of cool.
Or even to like, or have that mix of both as well would be all right. Like, maybe like, your best friend rival picks the one that's weak to you, and then like,
have both. Have like a friend.
More assy one tends to be like, is actually trying to win and is picking the one that's strong against you.
Yeah, no, I like that. Yeah, that's a cool idea.
They've done it a few times with that, where they've had a few. I think, what is it, X and Y? You have to fight multiple companions, and like I think 2 of them have the other starters as well.
Yeah,
but it's just been like a recent trend since like Sun and Moon specifically, where they've been all happy and like goody two shoesy with you.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite Pokemon that came out in the Paldea Pokedex, so like a new Pokemon?
So I'm gonna have to pick. I'll pick one without the DLC first, because you haven't played the DLC yet.
I have not.
So I'll pick one that's not in the DLC. Really. And I do like a lot of them. So the one I first did my playthrough with was Pormo,
Yeah.
and I soloed the entire game with a Pormo because
Jesus
I,
Christ.
I always play the games wrong to start with. Yeah. But one that's been growing on me recently because I've been trying to do stuff to make him work a lot is Spidops.
Oh no, that's a good shout.
He is god awful. A terrible Pokemon. I like the design though, and I kind of like he's got a silly little gimmick of like where he's like a counter like Pokemon, but like out of the new ones, like he's a really strong. Like I might have to just give it to him.
Yeah, I like his design. His design's really cool. Little spider duty.
Because it's been quite a strong generation of design.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Like you have stuff like Armor Rouge, Cerulege is a lot of people's like favorites as well. Like they're brilliantly done.
The anime really helped with Cerulege because Cerulege is a part of he's the Meowth of the bad guy team in the new anime. Like he's the bad guy sort of mascot, and like me and Logan kind of fell in love with Cerulege for the anime. And don't get me wrong, I haven't got him in the game, but like I've seen gameplay with people using him and stuff. He's a very cool Pokemon. I'll give him that. When it comes to the new, I need to think now. Because I do like Cerulege and Armor Rouge. I do like the way that you have to evolve them as well. It's a nice little like side quest you gotta do, which I haven't actually got.
Also, the Paradox forms are like really well done as well. Like it's stuff like Iron Hands. You have what was it? Like you said, Great Tusk is really cool. There's the likes of Roaring Moon. There's Iron Valiant as well. They're all really great.
I think one of my favorite ones when it comes to the Paradox, but obviously I've only played Scarlet, so I haven't played with the Iron Paradox Pokemon, but I really love Roaring Moon's design. That is stunning. The way its wings are like now feathered and everything. It kind of resembles Salamance's mega form as well, which is great. It's just that thing's gorgeous. I love the way that looks, and it's really dominating in the actual game too. That thing looks awesome.
No, so like, but no, definitely, I'll probably give it to Spidops for me as a new Pokemon. I'm not including like a new line, just a new Pokemon is Spidops from like the base decks of Scarlet and Violet, just because the amount of trouble I've gone with to try and make him competitively viable recently.
I think I kind of have a love for what's it called? Baxcalibur? Is it called?
Baxter's new pseudo Baxcalibur.
Yeah, Dragon Ice type. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because it kind of reminds me of Power Rangers a little bit or what, but I really do like that. I think he's kind of sick, and I absolutely adore Gimmigle. I love the whole little dude collecting the coins. I think he's so cute.
I've hated getting him. I've had to do it multiple times.
I hate the whole collecting the coin thing. That's bullshit. But him as a Pokemon,
the design and stuff like
awesome.
that, he's so strong as well.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about Goldengo. I think the evolution is called, where he's all gold and everything.
Yeah.
But Gimmigold himself, I think he's such a cool little dude, man. Love it. It's great, and he lives like in a chest of coins and everything.
I wish we get one where like he's out of the chest as well, though, like a variant.
There is a roaming form designed, because he carries one particular coin, but I don't know if you can get it in the game.
No, I don't think you can, but like there is the roaming form where you can see him outside of it, like because they're like around the map and stuff is what you use to pick up for the stones.
Yeah. Is there a particular design that you don't like from the new Pokemon that came out in Scarlet and Violet? Because I have mine.
Oh, that's an even tougher question. Because even then, with some of the stuff, I quite like the concept of some of them too, where they've gone. If you tell me yours, and I'll keep looking.
I understand where they were going with it, but I just don't know. I can't get around. I can't sit there and go, yes, it's a great design, and that's Sandy Shocks, the Paradox Pokemon for Magneton.
Yeah.
Like I just
Yeah.
can't get over that. Like, nah, man, I don't care. Right? I understand where they were going with it, but there's other ways to do it. Sandy just Shocks just ain't it, bro. I'm sorry. Nah,
100%. Magneton with just legs. Yeah,
yeah,
no.
it's literally bro.
It's like the new the Starmie Mega Evolution now that came out, and it's just like it's Starmie with legs. It just feels like that. And
Yeah,
I just
exactly.
100% agree on that one. That is probably the worst one. There, like the rest are kind of like cool. They're more like the past ones are more like primal or like edgy and stuff like that. They're pretty cool. But then like you just got a Magneton with long arms.
Yeah, that's
He's
literally.
got iron stuck in the form of like spiky hairdos.
Yeah, it's just like, nah, I'm good, bro. What's your thoughts on the fact that we had a permanent Pokemon that we could ride around, which also upgrades if you do the Titan storyline?
I really liked its integration that it's being the legendary is with you the entire time.
Yeah, same. I
It's
really like that.
he gets much better with the DLC, the upgrades, much better in the DLC. He actually becomes really, really useful, or they do. But just as without like, you could probably get away without doing the features if the maps were like they used to be, where they were quite small and like they weren't too bad to get around. But my favorite part about it is like this is the legendary you go through the game with,
Yeah.
and I feel like that part of it's really cool.
I really like the fact that there's a visible difference. I don't know about every single time, but by the time you get to the last couple Titans and you get the herb to give it to Crydon, there is actually a visible difference with him as well. Like he changes with his upgrades. I do find it absolutely funny though that you at the end of the game when you've done like the main storyline, you can now just run around and do all the like extra post game content. You now can put Crydon in your team, or you can have him as your ride. You can't have both. If you go back down to the very bottom of Area 0, you can catch another Crydon. So then you can have one in your team and then one that you can ride.
Yeah, and it's really cool as well that they've given us a second version of it, because that means that you don't have to play through the entire game if you want to complete the Pokédex now, because you can trade that for someone else's Miraidon for to say, you know, like, or to say.
Yeah.
And like, where before, like you'd have to like either sacrifice your legendary or make her like, it's like, promise you'll give it back to me, you know, and then stuff like that.
They kind of make it was like, hey, I don't mind if you keep this one, I can have a Miraidon. Yeah, it works. I think Crydon, again, I haven't played Violet, I'm just going on Scarlet. I think Crydon is great in his battle form. I really like the way that it's almost feathery, very tribal looking. And again, because he's with you from the get-go, he's almost a main character and he has his own personality and stuff, especially if you do the Titan storyline where it is all about him, more or less, and stuff. Like he kind of gains his own personality and stuff, and he's adorable, and you know he wants to like tag team with you, and by the end when you're doing the final fight, he becomes kick ass and he's ready to help out and everything. And yeah, I really like the fact that, you know, when it comes to Pokemon, we've always had the box legendaries, and we've always had them from the get-go. We've always had a Pokemon on the start, and obviously when Pokemon first came out, it was the starter Pokemon, but then they started doing the legendaries, and we had to wait until a certain point in the game, more or less the end, before you got them. This time around, he's with you from literally the beginning. You literally don't get to do a lot before you actually get Crydon. And out far, sure, you can only ride him, but it kind of feels like you've actually accomplished something by the time you complete the game, because now that weakened thing that you can ride that didn't do a lot. Not only glides, swims, climbs up walls and everything, but now you can fight with the thing, and he's kick-ass too. So like it kind of feels like you've actually done something.
Yeah, and like again, like you said with the story, like it integrates with the story like a lot better. Like you take some of the older like games, and it's like, oh, it's like, oh, there's something about this mythical legendary. Then it's like, oh, that the evil team won, and then you go up, like say in Diamond and Pearl, you go up to the mountain, and then you do the temple fight, and then oh look, it's Dialga or Palkia. Then you get them, and it's like at that point you're at the 7th gym. And it's the first time you're seeing them. For a lot of people, unless you don't like using legendaries, like I don't, you often just replace a Pokemon with a legendary because it's higher level than everything. It's a legendary, it's super powerful and stuff like that, and it can kind of carry you a lot of the way. But like I feel like this time round, it's been like, and I would love to see them like do it again as well, because he seems like a part of your team throughout.
Oh yeah, I don't know if it would be a good idea if it's every single game now, but I'd be happy if like they make it like a thing where every other game the legendary will be a part of your team in some way, like a ride throughout the whole game. Like that'd be really
It doesn't
cool.
like have to even be like too much of a ride. They did it. I think they did it with Sun and Moon too, because they had I think it was Lily had Cosmoem like with her the entire time, and it's just like integrating like the legendary into the story just makes them feel like a bigger part of it.
Yeah.
Which makes it like, oh, when you actually get to use them, you've seen this creature throughout the game. Like, it's not just all of a sudden like here's a powerful creature. It's like something that like has been worked towards.
It's kind of like when you level up a Pokemon enough that it's in its final evolution stage. Like you start a Pokemon, for example, and it's kind of like that, but with a legendary. And I think I ended up loving Crydon. I think Crydon's really cool, and I can't wait to dive into the DLC. Yeah, honestly, I understand where a lot of people nitpick about certain things. Like the windmill, for example. We brought that up earlier, but as a take away all the little nitpicks. As a solid Pokemon game, I think this game was actually really enjoyable. Again, there's certain things I'd remove, like the team boss fight beginning half, because that is just a slog to get through. There's no need to do that sort of bollocks. Just give me the cool fight, give me more of the characters. But because of the Switch, and now the Switch 2 is stronger, they can do things better than what they could do on like the Game Boy, for example. We are getting cool characters, cool character designs. We now have a legendary that feels like a character, and it feels rewarding when you get to the end now and it can kick some ass. And the storyline was actually really good. I really enjoyed it. It was honestly, I think, again, haven't played Violet, I've only played Scarlet, but I feel like Pokemon Scarlet was a really good solid installment to the franchise.
Definitely, it's definitely up there for me now with a lot of games. Even with my gripes with it, like playthrough Rise is just really good, like a good game to play through. There's a great choice, great selection to do, and like I've gone through an egg lock with like people just to be like, oh, here, what random Pokemon you're gonna get? It's gonna be like loot boxes, like, and stuff like that, and like just a sheer selection you can use. It's been like a great game. There's all the 18 types of gyms and stuff like that. Those fights are great, and I find the replayability of that one is like really high.
Yeah, well, like we said, we enjoy playing Scarlet. Once I have played through the DLC, we can do another episode and we can return to Pokemon Scarlet and talk about the DLC separately. We'll talk about both in one. Pokemon DLCs are usually, well, now, lately, they are pretty big. So even if it's a smaller episode, I don't mind that. But we'll definitely do the DLC in an episode at some point. But yeah, thank you both for coming back on, and I can't wait to do more of these throughout 2026 and continue our little game run of talking about video games and things.
Yeah, 100%. Looking forward to it.
And with that, everybody, of course, if you listen to the podcast platforms, then of course do rate us and all that jazz. If you listen to us on YouTube, of course, subscribe and hit all the buttons and everything. As of recording this, we are in the 60 mark of subscribers. It'd be kind of cool if we got to 100 by the end of the year, just saying. And with that, we love you all. Roar of passion, everybody, and we shall see you guys in the next one.
What you have just listened to is a product created by the Three Ranger Bros Studio.
Hosted by 3 cosplaying fathers who
happen to be massive geeks of all sorts of fandoms.
They are Mark, the Red Cornish Ranger,
Cosplay Dude 637,
and Ty Tiger.
The studio covers different types of YouTube videos, TikToks, podcasts, and live streams.
If you wish to find out who cosplays who, the YouTube channel, the TikTok accounts, and the podcasts, and all of the other social media platforms,
please go to the 3rangerbrostudios.com.